Okay, today I'm going to be showing you how to use one of these Coverlay dash covers. You can see this is a 2007 Lexus. You can just see how cracked the dashboard is. This was actually a known issue on a lot of the Toyotas and the Lexuses. It was a recall, and unfortunately by the time we got the vehicle, the previous owners had missed the recall. You can even see my mess where I had tried to use one of those kits. I mean, the dash is just a mess. A new dash is like $900 plus if you pay the dealership to install it. I believe it was $400 or $500 more than that. So around $1,500 or so to replace this guy. So I found these Coverlay dash covers, and let me tell you, they are awesome. So first thing you need to do to put one of these guys on is you need to basically use a razor blade to trim off anything that's poking up out of the dash. Now this dash isn't so bad. It's mostly stuff that's come out, but you know what I'm talking about. You've seen the dashes that are really rough and have pieces like poking out. So you need to cut those off. And then with some pretty low grit sandpaper, maybe 60, 80, even 120, you need to sand down the dash, any of these areas that are in bad shape. Just the dash has to be completely flush so that the new dash cover doesn't, there's nothing underneath it that's poking it up. So once you do that, you need to clean the dash with some sort of ammonia-based cleaner. So it's really important that the cleaner have ammonia. You can see right here. So I'm just using some generic, basically glass cleaner. You're going to want to wipe this down with a lint-free cloth. And this is just so that the adhesive that we're going to be using, which is nothing more than silicone, can really stick to the dash pretty well. So once we get all that done, we're going to test fit the cover. And you can see now how just awesome this cover looks, just by me throwing it on there to test fit. So you just want to put it on and make sure that it fits in all your little nooks and crannies of your dash. Make sure you got the right cover, that kind of thing. And once you're sure of that, then you can get to the part of actually adhesing it to the dash, which is real easy. This entire process takes maybe 15-20 minutes. So you'll start by putting the silicone in just a cup of hot water for about 10 minutes. And then every so often kind of pull it out of the water and just knead it a little bit. You want it to be pretty flexible. So I forgot to show this before I used it, but the way you use this silicone is you remove the top, and the top actually has a little sharp pin in there that's designed to puncture the silicone tube. Now I've already done that, but I'm just trying to show you, after the fact what that looks like in case you've never used one of these before. So you just puncture there's a little metal foil tab on the top. And then you'll use this you can use this, you don't have to. You'll see that I didn't, but this does allow you to get much finer and controlled bead. And what you're looking for is, about a 1/4 inch bead or so. So I found that cutting it around here, maybe a little higher than you see me cutting it, will get you a 1/4 inch bead. Or you can do the technique that you see me using, which is just squirting it directly out of the tube. And really the main thing is you just want to make sure that you get complete coverage. And if you have a little too much and it kind of squirts out, it's no big deal. Now, yours will come with instructions as well, but basically you need to put about a 1/4 inch around all of the edges. So anywhere there's an edge, even when there's a hole, or especially where there's an opening or hole in your dash cover, that's where you're going to need to make sure that you've got complete coverage of this silicone so that it sticks to your dash really well. And the thing I like about the silicone is if you ever wanted to remove this cover, you could totally remove this cover without any damage to your existing dash. You could even pull this off, remove all the silicone, and start over completely. But make sure you get good coverage with your silicone, and then be careful putting it in, because it's easy to get silicone all over the rest of your car, although it's pretty easy to get off. So then just kind of, make sure you push it in all the little nooks and crannies again. That silicone's really sticky, so you shouldn't have any trouble with it adhesing. And then I'm going to show you a couple of things they recommend, which worked out really well as far as holding it while it dries. So I just took some old cardboard boxes, and there's a couple areas you want to do this in. The dash up here near the windshield is one. So basically, you're just wedging them in the dash at the windshield area, and that's going to make sure it holds tight, while it dries. And I'm just going to let this guy dry overnight, which is one of the recommendations. I kind of broke this up into stages just so I could make the video about it, but you could complete all of these tasks in a single day, and the next day be driving your car. So once you get those in, on mine at least, I made a couple little cardboard cutouts to put on the edges where the door is holding that flap in. And then over here on the glove box, I'm just using some masking tape to make sure that stays down. Depending on the shape of your dash, You might could even put some books or heavy things on your dash. Unfortunately, with the slope, I don't think they would fit very well. So I'm just using some masking tape. Just want to make sure that this stays down while it dries overnight. And again, that silicone's pretty tacky, so it really shouldn't be an issue. Once you push and hold it in there, it's pretty much going to stay. You will see later that I did make a piece of cardboard to basically wedge between the passenger seat and the little section right above the glove box. I just made a little section and wedged it in there. If you have power seats, you could actually move the seats back and forward to kind of tighten it up. But you'll see what I mean in a little bit. And you can, I'll put a link down below to their website. You can pick these covers up for between $300 and $400, which again, much cheaper than buying the original dash and having it put in. Not to mention, this guy is just so easy to install. So there's the piece of cardboard I'm talking about that I kind of built to hold it while it was drying. So here I am the next day. I'm just removing all of the cardboard. And I waited about 24 hours. I believe that's what the instructions tell you to wait. Although this stuff dries a little bit quicker than that. Within a few hours, it's pretty much stuck really well. And now in my case, you may not have this, but I've got this little cover for the airbag. So I'm just test fitting it to make sure. You would probably have done this. If you weren't making a video like me, you would have done this when you put the dash in. So I test fit it. I'm gonna do the same thing again. Gonna put a little bead of silicone around the edges, and then just like before, we're gonna stick this guy back on, and then put some weight on it. And if you get any silicone anywhere, like you can see some, I got some on my hands and then accidentally transferred it to the dash. It comes off without any trouble at all. You can literally just take your fingers and rub it, and it just peels right off the dash. So I'm going to put a little bit of painter's tape over this just to make sure it dries well. And that's really about it. I mean, you'll be amazed at the transformation you can make in your dash. And if you've ever tried to use one of those dash repair kits, you know that they are really hard to get a perfect match, almost impossible. I mean, I've seen some videos of people doing perfect matches. I've never been able to get close. So I think this was the best of both worlds. So here I am after letting this dry. I've got my airbag cover in there nice. The dash just looks really good. And now as a final touch, just like you would if it was your regular dash, put some, protectant on it, some Armor All or whatever you might have to really give it a nice shine. And remember, you want to protect this dash just like you would have protected your other dash. It's just a cover and it can crack just like your dash. So definitely want to protect it. And I mean, look at how much better it looks once it gets a little bit of shine on it. I mean, I'm not going to say it looks as good as the original dash. I mean, but you can obviously tell there was a cover on it. But the difference in the appearance of it with the cover on versus how cracked it was before, I mean, it's basically a transformative difference. And even if we were trying to resell this car, I can't imagine how much value this would have added. No one would have wanted, or someone would have wanted to take off probably a pretty good penny for buying a car with a dash that was as messed up as this guy was beforehand. And now with this, $400 dash cover on there, I mean, it looks really good. And I don't think anybody buying it would really care, especially not on a 13-year-old car at this point. All right, so I hope this helps someone out there get their dash in much better shape. They have covers for a lot of different vehicles. Just check out their website below. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.